Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Detroit Tigers franchise mode here in MLB The Show 21. So in last episode, we started up the season simulation. We also had the draft, and as you can see, we're off to a very good start this year, 35-21. I also did make a little bit of a roster change at the end of last episode because for some reason the AI decided to send down Fernando Valdez, so we called him back up into the lineup, and I did decide to send down Bronson Bonner because of the fact that we do have a left fielder in Robbie Harvey who could also play catcher, and he's a better overall wise, so we're going to run with that. But I think our team has a very good shot of being one of the best teams this year. Just because of we're starting off like we're one of the best teams in the entire MLB at this stage right now, and yeah, we're 9-1 in our last 10. We have a lot of guys that all could make the All-Star game when we were looking at like the All-Star voting. Like Gary Harris up there, David Jordan's there, Pierre Montenegro, I believe Corona was there as well. Like we could have like 4 or something All-Star representatives, which would be pretty nuts if that is the case. Now in the draft, we actually had a pretty good draft as well. For our pick, we decided to take Troy Hinton, who's a left fielder and 18 years old. He's a 71 overall already, which is fantastic for an 18-year-old, and he's got 89 potential, so only B potential, but obviously that could go up if he continues to develop good. And yeah, then we also grabbed some other decent young prospects, and yeah, I signed them pretty much all to contracts except for Mark Hawk because he's a very low overall and he's already 21, so he's not going to get a contract, unfortunately. But I still think it was a pretty good draft for us, and yeah, hopefully we continue to have some good drafts. Hopefully we stay healthy down the stretch of the season simulation, and hopefully we can make the playoffs with like the divisional lead spot, because we last time we made the playoffs, and the only time we made the playoffs, we made it to like the wild card game, and then we ended up losing to Toronto. So we want to actually make it to like a playoff matchup if we can, in like technically the second round, I guess you could say. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna make any changes to start this episode, so let me just make sure everybody is healthy and ready to go. I think everybody's healthy at this stage, right? Yeah, we have nobody injured at the moment, so hopefully that stays that way. I'm really nervous that it could end up changing. Let's adjust our rotation a bit because David Jordan has been phenomenal, so we're gonna move him up over Casey Mize. And then I think we'll also move Dennis Tucker up instead of Matt Manning. Obviously, I have to use Casey in my top 3, I think. And then we'll keep the rest of that the same. But yeah, that's pretty good. Let's continue to simulate the season and see how we finish. I'm very excited to see how we finish. But I feel like this team could just fall off all of a sudden because last year we started the season off really decently. And then by the, by the draft, we were below 500. So... but we're way above 500 right now. Like, we're how much games above 500? 14 games above 500. I really hope this team can keep it together. So let's sim up to All-Star Week, and hopefully we do not suffer any injuries. But we do start 1-4 this episode, which is not good. We do have apparently some message. Hopefully that's not an injury. Nope, it is not. Okay, good. Just gotta get rid of these dumb notifications. Let's continue to simulate. Come on, boys. Oh, man, we're off to a really slow start this episode, but there's back-to-back wins, which is good. Let's stop simulating again, because apparently we got another important message. But yeah, we're off to a little bit of a rocky start this episode. As long as we win our division, I will be okay with that. 38-29. We're still 4 games up, apparently. But we are 3-7 in our last 10 games, as opposed to 9-1, how we ended last episode, so that's not good. I don't think we have any injuries because it didn't notify me. Yeah, we have no injuries, so I don't know if that change I made is why we're losing games all of a sudden. Oh, there's a really good winning streak. That's great to see that we bounced back with a good winning streak. Very streaky team, it seems like. Yeah, let's stop simulating because we got notifications. Looks like we might have had an injury, which I hope is not the case. What do we got here? I'm not making any trades, probably. Transactions. Okay. There's always so much notifications in this game. Injured list. What do we got here? It was just Colby Wyatt. It's not the end of the world. It's one of our better pitching prospects, though, but at least it's not somebody in the actual MLB. Let's continue to simulate to All-Star Week. But yeah, Gary Harris might end up making like the, what is it? Like the home run competition. I don't know why I couldn't think of what I was going to say. Let's stop simulating again. We're on a 2-game winning streak, and we're 51-37. So we are 16 games above 500. Only 3 games up on the White Sox, though, so that's really scary. So us and the White Sox are definitely going to contend for that top spot in our division. But the Twins are quite far back of us right now. Hopefully that stays that way, though. Get rid of all these notifications again. And do we have another injury? Looks like Bourbon was injured. That was another one of our starting pitcher prospects, but he's back already, which is good. Okay, so we're almost at All-Star Week. There's 3 straight wins. Skip through all these trades and stuff. Okay, so we're on All-Star Week, which is great. Get rid of this notification. Let's take a look at the who made the All-Star game. We're 53-38. We're 4.5 games up now on the White Sox. Let's sim through this game against the Twins, and we win that one as well. Let's see who's in the home run derby this year. This home run derby and All-Star game is at Citi Field, so the Mets are hosting the All-Star game this year. And turns out we do not have anybody in the home run derby this year, but those are the guys that are there. So Prado, Pena, Rogers, Poisson, Davidson, Ames, Soto, and Rutschman. Didn't we have Nick Ames weighted at the beginning? I don't think so. Actually, yes, we did. His Nick Ames used to be in our system, and all of a sudden he jumped up to a 90 overall, which I don't understand. But yeah, then he was claimed in the Rule 5 draft by Texas. And now he's playing in like Cincinnati, which is crazy. Okay. Let's sim through this. Yeah. Looks like Gary Hare must have fallen off on home runs because he was up there before, but let's get rid of these notifications again. But yeah, 54-38. That's pretty damn good. This might be our best season yet of this franchise mode because of the fact that we're getting our power better. Okay, let's take a look at who made the All-Star game for us. So, who is going to be in the All-Star game for the AL? For starting pitcher-wise, David Jordan made it. He's not the starter, but he is up there. Dennis Tucker also making it as a starting pitcher. So, Dennis Tucker making his first All-Star game. Very impressed with him. Definitely a good bounce back year from last year. So Jordan and Tucker both starting pitchers. We also had Diego Corona get in as a closer, which is awesome. And Corona's off to a fantastic start this year as well. Geez, a .73 ERA and a .68 WHIP. That is disgusting. Through 37 innings. I know he's a closer, but man, he's a phenomenal closer. But yeah, so 3 players in terms of pitching, which is really great to see. And then in terms of actual batting, who did we get in here? Looks like Luis Garcia got in, which is great to see Luis Garcia get into an All-Star game. I believe it's his first All-Star game. Brandon Marsh, who we picked up in free agency for 1 year. He's also getting into the All-Star game. And that's it. So Gary Hare didn't make the All-Star game. That is interesting. Taylor Farrell took over instead. So Gary Hare must have fallen off a lot, because he was leading in All-Star votes last we checked. Let me take a look at Gary Hare just because I want to kind of see if he did actually fall off. Yeah, he fell off a lot on home runs because he was at like 12 to start this episode, I'm pretty sure. He was up there for sure, but his batting average is still really good. But it does suck that he isn't in the All-Star game, but our team in general, fantastic so far this year, I think, in terms of everything. Let's continue to simulate and go up to the trade deadline prep. But I really think this team has a good shot this year of maybe winning our division. I just really hope we don't fall off. Let's sim through this. There you go. There's some more wins. Good to see. What do we got for notifications? Okay. Good. And we're good on that. Let's see. Contract extensions. I almost want to re-sign Brandon Marshall already. Brian Packard needs technically a contract as well. Do we even have the money to get these guys back? Like, how much budget do we have even? We probably do have enough to get these guys back. Holy crap, I just realized Brian Packard off the bench has a .409 batting average. That is disgusting. For 1 year, he wants like $25 million, which is a lot of money. I might still wait on some of these guys, and then Brandon Marshall wants like for 1 year. Not that much, actually. 15's not terrible. I might bring back some of those guys in the offseason. Franklin Perez, I think. What does he want? He's going to probably just go to arbitration. Moreno, I'm probably going to let go of. Veras doesn't really matter that much right now. Fortune doesn't matter too much right now. Yeah, I think I'll just let those guys sit for now. Don't really need to do the contract extensions. Best asset on the block is Alexander Calinario. I don't need a center fielder though. That's why I brought in Brandon Marsh to help us with center fielding, and he's helped out a lot. Let's continue to simulate. Yeah, sure. An important message, but it's probably not that important. Always when I see that, I think that there's going to be like an injury, but it's always just notifications of people going on waivers, which I don't really care about. Okay, let's continue. There's a nice winning streak happening right now. Let's skip through these notifications, because I don't really care about who's getting traded away. Yeah, let's stop simulating. It's the trade deadline. We are 64 and 41. We are friggin' cruising right now this year. Oh, I really hope this team could win the World Series this year, because obviously we haven't made it past the first round, but we do have other tough teams to go up against if we get to the playoffs. Like, let's take a look at the standings. Currently, we are way ahead of everybody else in the entire MLB in stats. Actually, the Blue Jays are actually pretty close to us. They have a better winning percentage because they played less games, which is interesting. So if we run into the Blue Jays in like the conference finals or whatever it's called, yeah, like the ALDS or ALDS I think, or ALCS. Actually, yeah, the ALCS. Then it's gonna be tough. I hope the Blue Jays somehow get knocked out in the playoffs pretty early on. They are the defending champions as well. So yeah, if we end up having to play them at some point, it's going to be pretty tough. Can you stop giving me notifications, dumb game? I don't really care about anybody going on waivers. Thank you. Get rid of that. I haven't even really checked our like AA and AAA stats. How's our AAA team doing and stuff like that? So AA is above 500, so they might actually be in a wild card spot. And then the Mud Hens in AAA are not doing good at all. They're bottom of the division. Interesting. But yeah, our team has a lot of players on fire right now. Like, this might be the hottest team I've seen in a long time. And yeah, Fernando Valdez's getting called back up has been really good. Yeah, this team is looking fantastic right now. I'm glad I sent down Bronson Bonner though, I think, because he was kind of struggling. Let's into the September call-ups. But yeah, more than likely we're going to be a playoff team again, which is great. But yeah, we're kind of dropping a lot of games as of late. Maybe there was an injury. Yeah, there is an injury. Oh, it was Matt Manning, but he's back already, which is good. Because that would have sucked if he was injured long term, because he's one of our starting pitchers. Looks like we have now 3 cold pitchers, apparently. But, I mean, I think they'll turn it around eventually. Yeah, they'll probably turn it around. We're still first in our division, 78 and 54, 6.5 games up on the White Sox. That's great to see. How are we in terms of the entire league standings right now? 78 wins. We are technically first in the league, which is great. And yeah, let's get the last little bit of the regular season done. Let's sim to the end of this month. And we need to, the Tigers have 26 players. We need to call up 2 players actually for the September call-ups. So I guess we will call back up our catcher in Bronson Bonner, just as an extra piece. And who else do we want to call up? I guess we'll call up Vince Means as well. And yeah, let's continue to simulate. I didn't want to go play next game. Okay, let's go to the end of this month. And let's autofix AAA. Okay, there's a decent amount more wins. Yeah, we might be one of the best teams in the league at the end of the season. So the Mud Hens don't make the playoffs, unfortunately, even though they went 67 and 75, which is not terrible. And AA actually won the... wait, did they win their division? Yeah, they won their division, finishing 76 and 44. So good to see AA making the playoffs. No, I do not want to stop simulating. They got eliminated already, though. We got 5 more games left on the season, and we're 93 and 64. We're definitely going to win our division. 12.5 games up on the White Sox. Man, this team has all of a sudden just turned it around after missing the playoffs last year. Injured list looks like everybody's full of health, which is good news too. Hopefully that stays that same way for the last few games of the season. But currently standings wise, we have clinched the AL. Yeah, we've clinched the AL, and we are probably very close to winning the entire league in general. Well, like the entire MLB. The Nationals are still close to us, though. Let's get these last few games done. We got 2 games against the Twins and 3 games against the Sox. Sim through those games, and we win 3 and lose 2. So, we finished the regular season with what record? What was our record? I don't even know. But we actually made it to an ALDS. So we've made it farther than we've ever made it before in the playoffs. We faced the winner between Boston and the Angels. Interesting. So we'll have to find out who that is in a tiny bit. But let's take a look at our player stats for this season. And then we'll take a look at the league leaders, any awards, because we'll probably actually have some awards this year, which is great, because we didn't have any awards last year. So, player statistics. Let's see. So, in terms of runs, the best for runs was Gary Hare with 91 runs scored. Hits-wise was Pierre Montenegro. Glad I kept him around 168 hits. He had 100 RBIs this year out of nowhere. Friendly reminder that he's making only $2 million this year. And leader in home runs this year for our team was Carmen Nunez, who's an absolute animal. 37 home runs and 107 RBIs. And hitting a 251 in his second season. Jeez, he's only 22. He's up to an 88. In his short career, he's got 52 home runs and 152 RBIs. I am really glad I got this guy locked on a good deal for 2.8 when I did, because he's going to want a lot of money when that is up. But I'm very impressed with that guy. A lot of home runs from actually some decent players. Like Drew Waters is also all of a sudden picking it up too, which is great. RBI wise was Nunez, but Montenegro also broke 100 RBIs, which is great. Stolen base wise, Gary Hare was first on our team with 21. Batting average wise, Brian Packard hit at 379. But we did also have Drew Waters, who had a 300 through 490 at bats, which is disgusting. Cortez was great. Like batting average wise in general was really good. On base percentage, Packard was number 1. Cortez though was the best for an actual starter, I think, other than Drew Waters. Slugging percentage, Packard, Waters, Valdez. Yeah, Valdez had a really small, not as great of a year as other years. Actually, a pretty good year. But unfortunately, he didn't play a lot because I didn't realize he was in AAA. In OPS wise, we had a lot of good OPS. Our worst batter was Bronson Bonner, which makes sense, hitting a 558. And then Robin Fortune, when he played with his, hitting a 664. Base on balls doesn't matter too much. Strikeouts doesn't matter too much. Double wise though, Pierre Montenegro had 36. Brandon Marsh had 35. Triple wise, Garcia, Montenegro, and Hara all had 5. And that's pretty much it for our infielding players, which is good. How about our pitchers? David Jordan went 16-6 this year. He might be in the running for the Cy Young. 16-6 with a 2.6 ERA and a 1.08 WHIP. What a season for David Jordan. He's going to want a huge ass contract though when it's up, which means somebody like Manning might have to be dealt or something to get some more cap space. Chauncey, another really good season for Chauncey as well. 3.12 ERA, 1.13 WHIP. Tucker was really good. All our pitchers pretty much were really good. No complaints at all. Let's take a look at who had the best, though. ERA on our team for pitchers was Corona, technically, because he's a closer, but best for starters was Jordan. Best for relievers was Franco. Best whip was Corona for closers. Jordan for pitchers. Tucker was also really good. Yeah, we had some really fantastic pitching this year. Joe Green was really good for relievers. And I think that's pretty much that. Let's actually take a look at FIP, though, too. For WAR-wise, David Jordan. Whip, or FIP-wise, yeah, we had a lot of players below 4 FIP, which is really good. Casey Mize might have been one of our worst pitchers, which is crazy to say that. And Matt Manning was definitely one of our worst. Perez was not that great as a starting pitcher or reliever. which is a little bit scary considering he's going to be a reliever in the playoffs, but hopefully he plays better there. Okay, league leader wise, who led the league and stuff? So David Jordan led the league in strikeouts, which is crazy. Diego Corona led the league in saves. David Jordan led in innings pitched, and he also led in WHIP. I think David Jordan might have won the Cy Young. There's a good chance. I really hope that is the case. Let's just go through this so we can see all the batting average stuff. I'm not going to read this all out because else my voice is going to probably die on me, but we didn't actually have the lead leaguer in RBIs, but close to it. Let's scroll through that. But yeah, I think David Jordan might win the Cy Young because he was tied for the league lead in wins with his own teammate in Chauncey. That is kind of crazy. And then, like, if you go to saves, Corona led. ERA wise, David Jordan was number 2, so it might come down to Brent Honeywell. Actually, Brent Honeywell was below. He had a 7-11 record, so I think David Jordan really might win the Cy Young. We will definitely check that out because he led in strikeouts and all that. But David Jordan has came out of nowhere as a very good pitcher because, like I said, this guy, yeah, he struggled a lot the last 2 years, but all of a sudden, he's been fantastic. Dennis Tucker doesn't walk a lot of people. That's great to see as well. Yeah, this was a fantastic year from our entire team. So now we can take a look at the awards. Diego Corona is going to win the Delivery Man of the Year award. And David Jordan is going to be your Cy Young winner. Let's go. That's my first ever Cy Young in a franchise mode in this. Very impressed with David Jordan. Let's go. So I'll just scroll through some of these awards except for the ones that we won. So Chauncey was actually second in the Cy Young voting. When you have 2 guys that can win Cy Youngs, that is actually crazy. Good stuff, David Jordan. Winning his Cy Young at 28 years of age. And then Chauncey being 27 and almost winning one as well. Crazy. And then there's Corona winning the Reliever of the Year award. Good to see us get some awards. And Valaferte, wow. That guy I was interested in, like I said, at the draft before. He was actually a Rule 5 pickup of Kansas City. Wins Rookie of the Year. Man, what a good season from this team. I really hope that they could do good in the playoffs as well. Gary O'Hara up there for Golden Glove, but didn't get it. Yeah, this was a fantastic season. Hopefully it just gets a little bit better and we would do good in the playoffs too. Because I don't want it to be for nothing that we lost or won all these games. So let's take a look at the standings quickly. So we finished 96 and 66, which has us as the best team in the entire league, which is really great to see. And then in terms of statistics, team rankings, let's see at this. So we finished 5th in batting average, only behind the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the White Sox, I think I'm saying, the Nationals, and the Red Sox. And then runs wise, we were 6th. Hits wise, we were 3rd. Yeah, the Blue Jays are going to be a tough team if we play them. Doubles, we were tied for 9th. Triples, we were not that good at triples, apparently. Yeah, we're not really a fast team, kind of like the Blue Jays, though. 27th. Home run wise, we were 1st. That is insane that we went from like not being a good home run team to all of a sudden 1st in the league by a wide margin, too, by 16 home runs. RBI wise, we were 6th. Yeah, this was a fantastic year. Strikeout wise, we were 2nd best in strikeouts. Or not striking out, I should say, technically. Grounded double plays, we didn't ground into as much double plays this year as well. The team just all of a sudden flipped the switch. What else we got? ERA wise, we are 4th, only behind St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Washington. Complete games, we were 2nd. Yeah, pretty much everything with this team is pretty good this year. Really hope that continues in the playoffs. So that is that. Let's take a look at who we're going to be going up against in the ALDS. And then whoever wins that will go on to the ALCS and then maybe the World Series. So let's sim up to this day. See who we're up against, and it's going to be Boston. Okay, taking on the Red Sox. Let's take a look at what the Red Sox look like. Hopefully they're not too good of a team. Let's see what we got. I think we should probably be able to beat them just because they're a wildcard team, but you never know. They might actually have a decent team. Okay, so starting pitcher-wise, they look like they have a good pitching rotation, but they do have an injury at the moment. So Adrian Moran, this guy's a real player. 96 overall, but they're a little bit older of a team, it looks like, actually. Dylan Cease, and Grover Goodwin, Rob Sanchez, Ian Anderson. So I would say a pretty good pitching rotation. They do have Luzardo, who's out with a fractured wrist, though, for 1 to 2 weeks, which means he'll probably miss this entire series, which is good for us. Relief pitcher-wise, they do have some decent players in their bullpen, too. Munoz, Clase, and Nolan Blackwood, who actually used to be in our system, but then we lost him in the not an expansion draft, in a Rule 5 draft. And he's a very good reliever, apparently. Actually, they also have Jose Quezada. Yeah, Jose Quezada, who's not that great. Closing pitcher-wise, they have a pretty good closer as well in Jason Farrell. And then catcher-wise, they do have a better catcher than us. They have picked up Joey Burt. Yeah, they picked up Joey Burt, and he's really good. 89 overall, so they beat us catcher-wise. We probably beat them pitching-wise. First baseman-wise, they have a not great first baseman, so we could beat them there. They got Jeremy Vasquez. And then second baseman-wise, they got Garrett Estrada. We kind of probably beat them there as well. Yeah, we're probably way better than them infielding-wise, so we should be able to go to the ALCS, I think. Potentially. Justin Yurachek. Ji-Hwan Bae. Yeah, it's actually really good. Their shortstops are really good. Yeah, Ji-Hwan Bae, Jeremy Ironman, and Brendan Rodgers, who was up there in home runs with 30 home runs this year. Not as much RBIs as some of our guys, though. Left fielding wise, they look like they're a pretty good outfielding team as well. Ramos and Sean Michelle, Martinez, and Eric Ciccone. That's kind of funny because there's a hockey player named Enrico Ciccone from way back. And then they don't really have any right fielders that are that good. Yusniel Diaz. So overall wise, I think we're a better team than they are on paper. It's going to be really interesting to see who ends up winning. Let me just take a look at their pitching rotation, what they got going for them, and also their lineup. And then that'll be it for this episode. So, yeah, they got Cease, Goodwin, Sanchez, Moran's down there at 4, which is interesting, and Ian Anderson. And then their pitching rotation, or pitching bullpen, has a lot of right-handers, which is interesting. So we got to make sure that we're playing our batting lineup against right-handed pitchers. And let's take a look at what their lineup looks like as well, just because I'm kind of curious on how they bat. Are we almost there already? I don't even know where the Red Sox are in this entire order. We should probably be getting close to them, right? Oh, there they are. Perfect. So Ji-Hwan Bae is their leadoff guy. Then they also have Justin Yurachek, Estrada, Bart, Ramos, Ironman, Vasquez, Sean Michelle, and Martinez. Okay. And then bench-wise, Brendan Rodgers off the bench against right-handed pitchers is pretty good. And then there's with no DH, and there's left-handed pitchers and no DH. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Detroit Tigers franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the ALDS against the Boston Red Sox, and whoever wins the series is going to have a tough task in the ALCS, facing either Toronto or Houston, and both those teams have won World Series as of recently. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.